And my favorite story, though, is when they first met. They had been dating, I think, okay, now there's a disclaimer. All these stories are from what us as the authors remember, whether or not that's really what the truth is. They had been dating, I think, 6 months. And my mom had gone home to Kansas. And she was hanging out in Kansas, and she was talking about my dad, and she says, you know, I'm going to marry this guy. I'm going to marry him. They're like, really? Like, Wayne? Like, really? And she's like, yep, I just know this. I have this feeling. I'm going to marry him. So she comes home, and the night she came home, she's, I think, at my dad's apartment. And they're sitting on a couch that we had years later still. And she's sitting on his lap, and he said, gosh, I missed you. She said, I missed you too. He goes, don't leave me again. Can you just not do that? And she goes, yeah, I think so. He goes, let's get married. And she goes, really? He's like, yeah, then you'll never leave me. He had no ring. She then later asked, how much money did you make today on the lots? $28.
To be fair, it was 37.
Okay, 37, sorry. The sweetest man, 33 years later, still madly in love. My mom and dad. Okay, so my other funny story about dad, though, and mom, is I think we can all say that my dad was very well known for his ponytail. My mom really wanted this ponytail, and she kept begging him, honey, just grow your hair, please grow your hair. I would be so sexy, just grow your hair. Okay, fine. Well, if you know us Stevens, our hair does not grow very fast. So I think he had been growing it for 2 years. 2 years, I think it got 2 inches longer, like maybe, like right here. And we are at the Islands Elementary Christmas Craft Fair, my mom and I, and we have our booth and we're selling our stuff, and in walks my dad without those 2 inches of hair. He had gone to get his hair cut, and he cut it all off, and he was so excited. He walks in, and my mom just burst into tears. She was so upset. Well, needless to say, my dad had a really long ponytail after that. So anyways, Mommy, do you like to come up?
Oh, wow, there's a lot of you here. I don't believe in soulmates. It might work for all of you, but I don't believe it. The idea that there's only one person on the whole planet that's made for you and you have to find them and stay with them and that's how it works, that wasn't how it worked for us. For us, we chose every day, every week, every month, and every season. And we had the good fortune to meet a woman once who was a little bit older, and she'd been married a long time and they'd done a lot of really cool things. And I'm like, how do you make this work? And she said, well, the problem with life is that we get bored. We're in this same relationship. I know, Alita, you're nodding. It was you. Okay, I said there was an older woman. I didn't want to point you out. So you get bored. And you have the same job, you live in the same house, you go to the same church, you hang out with the same people, and you're with the same relationship. And so all of a sudden you say, something's wrong with my life, I gotta change something. And so the easiest thing to do is say, I'm gonna change you. And so the solution to that is to mix up your life, because it's way easier to just keep the same person. So I don't know that applies to everybody, but that really applied to us. So we mixed up our lives. We moved to Mazatlan, we'd move to Vegas, we'd go on this trip, we'd do that. We'd just keep it crazy all the time, and the consistent thing was each other. And it really, really worked for us. I don't believe in love at first sight. I lived next to Wayne for a year. I had a rule, I don't date neighbors, because when you break up, that gets really ugly. And then the monsoons came, and we had flat roofs, and so I thought I should organize my neighbors and we should re-roof. So I went to him and I said, I need whatever amount of money it was. I don't remember. And he said, hell no. And a couple weeks later, the roof leaked. And of course, the roof leak, yeah, Rick remembers this, was above Wayne's portion, but the actual into the house was in my portion. Let's just say it was not love at first sight. But we got past it. I don't believe that the roller coaster is always the best ride. You know, you hear the roller coaster is always the best ride. When the kids were little, we went to Disneyland. And we paid a lot of money because, you know, it's not cheap. And we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. And Karen got on the monorail. And she really liked it. And Wayne rode it with her for 3 days. They never got off. They just rode the monorail. And Wayne was happy. Like, Wayne was happy. He's like, okay, let's ride the monorail. So that's what they did. I know that love is not blind. Some of you remember when we built our house in the islands. If you were a contractor on that house, I apologize right now because it was painful. But I obsessed about the tile, and I finally found the perfect tile for the shower. And so they came and they started putting it up. And they were about this high, and I walked in and I didn't like it. And I said, Wayne, I don't like this tile. And he called the contractor, and he said, I'm going to need you to come tomorrow and rip that out. And the contractor said, but that's going to cost whatever it was. And Wayne said, yeah, but every morning she's going to get in the shower, and then she's going to get out, and she's going to be pissed. And I'm going to have to live with her. So I just need you to change the tile. And so they did. I don't believe that we all have a limited amount of love to give. There's been some talk about Jeff Bonfield, and Jeff and Rick and Lair were the foursome. And when Jeff was tragically killed, Wayne said, no, that's it. You know, I'm just going to have Rick and Lair. That's it. And then along came Jimmy. And none of us saw that one coming. And we did think Jimmy was the figment of Wayne's imagination, except for the phone bills. And that was back when you paid by the minute. And Katie and I made a pact once of like we were going to put a limit. And what was so great about their friendship is when we moved to Mexico, nothing changed because they just talked on the phone. They never, you know. So, yeah, Jimmy brought so much to Wayne's life. And when our kids got to the point that he didn't need to worry about them every minute, he could take a break occasionally, he started worrying about Jimmy's kids.
All the time.
And this whole Amanda, what school she was going to go to, oh my gosh. We have hours and hours of that. I don't believe in prenuptial agreements, and if y'all have one, please don't be offended. We didn't have one. But there was a contract, and it was unwritten. And part of the unwritten contract was that I don't put gas in my own car. And Karen and I used to run and walk a lot, and we knew that it was exactly 6.2 miles from her house to my house on the canal. But one day, I don't know what we did. Anyway, we were at her house, and I got in the car, and that damn light came on, and it said you have 6 miles. Well, I didn't want Wayne to know that I actually did know how to put gas in the car. So I stopped and put in $1.50 so that I could get home and he wouldn't know how to do that. I'm telling a lot of stories. Okay, I don't believe that money can buy love. However, I know for sure it can keep you out of a Mexican jail. When we moved to Mazatlan, you know, the rule for driver's license, if your feet reach the pedals, you can drive. Jeff had pretty long legs. So I went off to Guadalajara shopping with my girlfriend, and I left Wayne and Jeff at home. And I told Jeff, you know, just don't drive on Savalo, okay? Savalo is just, there's too many traffic, too many tourists, too much going on. Don't drive. You can go anywhere you want, don't drive on Savalo. So, of course, what does he do? And I get this call from Wayne, and he said, Jeff just backed into a bus. What should I do? I said, well, you should call our friend Big Al, who really exists, and his job is to keep the gringos out of jail. So thank God I hadn't left Wayne with much money. He goes down and he finds Big Al. Jeff's down there, opens up his billfold, or Al says, how much money do you have? He opens up his billfold. He has 600 pesos. Or was it 800? I don't know. Al takes it all. He gives 100 pesos to the bus driver, 100 pesos to the cop, 100 pesos, and puts the rest in his pocket. Jeff didn't go to jail. So if you're going to Mazatlan, look up Big Al. I personally, even though we live in Vegas, I don't believe in buffets. Wayne, on the other hand, loved the buffets, and he particularly loved the Sunset Buffet, which for breakfast was $4.95, except he was on the VIP list, which means once a month he got a coupon, and it was 2 for 1. And so one particular time, Pam happened to be there on his birthday, and I left them alone for like a millisecond, and I come back and she's asked him where he would like to go for his birthday. And we went to the Sunset. I don't recommend it. Oh crap, Tyler, I just did, oh there we go. Okay, it didn't go in. I don't believe that love is easy. I think it's a lot of work. And the summer that Leah got married, it was an amazing amount of work for Wayne because she wanted a vintage wedding, and so for a year I bought dishes and silverware and glasses, and we got a U-Haul and we schlepped it all to Flagstaff. And for a solid month, Wayne and Leah washed dishes, polished silver,
Tiny boxes.
and it was the best month of his life. Like, you know, Wayne loves to do dishes, and it was, yeah. He was fabulous. I missed a story in here somewhere, and I don't remember what anyway, I'm just going to tell this out of order. When we were down there, we drove down in 2 cars with everything we owned, except my tablecloths, which I left here. And some months later, Tyler and Mark and TJ, was there somebody else?
No.
We're coming down, and I'm like, oh, you can bring the tablecloths. Well, how many do you have? Oh, just a few. So each person got 2 checked bags. So there were 5 bags of tablecloths and 1 bag of all their stuff. So of course, if the airlines are going to lose 1 out of 6, which one do they lose? And they didn't know which suitcase their stuff was in, so we just keep opening suitcases and there's more tablecloths. And fortunately, before we went, I bought Wayne a lot of bathing suits, and so the 4 of them were tooling all over Mazatlan wearing Wayne's bathing suits. Thank God they weren't wearing tablecloths. I don't think that love always fits in small packages and small places. And when Wayne was kind of going through all this towards the end, I was losing it. And so my BFF from the day hops on a plane and comes to see us and rescue us. And so we made a list of all the things that we might want to do. And Wayne only had one thing that he wanted to do, and that was go to the nursery and buy some damn plants. Not a good idea when you're bedridden, okay? And you're married to me. But of course, Cindy takes him in the wheelchair, tooling around. I stayed home. Tooling around, buying plants. So they get to the Liberty, and they put in all the plants, and then they put in Wayne, and they put in our other friend, and then there was nowhere for the wheelchair. Anyway, we got the plants, and I've only killed 1. I'm the bomb. I don't believe in following the rules. Wayne was diagnosed with cancer 13, 14 months ago, and he was told he had a couple of months. And he was told by a Mexican doctor no travel, and absolutely no travel into Mexico. 3 weeks later, we were on the beach in Zihuatanejo. We went to Puerto Vallarta twice. We went to Mazatlan. We went to Cabo. We came here repeatedly. He just was not going to take no for an answer. He was told that his only activity should be going from the couch to the bathroom. And he immediately started walking 2.5 miles because the rules didn't apply to him. So if Tyler puts this on the next page, I'll tell you what I do believe in, since I told you all the things I don't. I don't believe I'll ever send Tyler the thing and say, print it for me, because the type was about that long. So yeah, if you're wondering what I do believe in, I believe in a saying by Jim Rohn: you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Except in this case, it's the 55. And you know, the fact that you guys all came and did this, and Chad and Scott and Kim, and you know, all of a sudden we were like, oh crap, we have chairs, we don't have a way to get in there. And they're like, we're on it. And you know, you've heard that story about how your friends will just give you a real friend will give you the shirt off their back, right? Well, my friend Jerry, who flew in this morning from Vegas,
Literally.
had a much prettier shirt than the one I was planning on wearing. And so she rearranged her outfit so that I could wear that. I also believe in Wayne and My Song by the Forrester Sisters. And we would always look at each other and kind of ask ourselves this. And so I just want you all to know that if God gave me the chance to do it all again, I'd carefully consider every choice. And then of all the boys in the world, I would choose Wayne again. Thank you.